as you all know, this is kind of a sequential thing. We're doing regular lectures on a variety of topics. We really started out with the eat yourself super. I mean, as I always say, food first, right? So we started off the presentation series with eat yourself super, and then led into choosing and how to choose high quality supplements, why you might benefit from them. And some more specifics, are coming in this lecture. We're really going to kind of ground some things and talk about some fun things at the beginning, and then get into some of the more nuts and bolts toward the end. And what I'd like to tell you is that, I don't want anybody to get overwhelmed with facts and details and stuff like that in the presentation, because, as I said, this is, kind of an additive process. We're going to do a series of lectures that explore each one of these kind of constructs in more depth throughout the year next year. And I understand you all got your biometrics back, so that's great. Any room for improvement? Let me see some hands. There's always room for improvement, right? Yeah, so we're going to do a special program, maybe January or February for you all, called Know Your Numbers, where we'll do personalized worksheets on the 3 or 4 top things with regard to food and smart supplementation that you can do to kind of, enhance your biometrics profiles and your health, all right? And then lead into focus on specific pillars in health, cardiovascular, digestive, and so on and so forth, throughout 2015. Okay? So without further ado, smart supplementation. As I said, I kind of wanted to kick this off a little bit fun here for you, and kind of share the journey with you all. But as you know, I've mentioned that I'm an Appalachian root doctor who went to medical school. That's how I identify myself. And, like most Appalachian peoples, I'm of a mixed heritage, Scots-Irish, Anishinaabe or Native, and Lithuanian. And I identify with each aspect of those cultural traditions, and revive aspects of them as well. And I think that, and when I tell people that I was raised on a self-sustaining farm in rural Appalachia, learning that food is medicine, and food and medicine comes from the earth, and learning from elders and the earth and traditional health and wellness strategies, I tell people, and they say, "Wow, you're really lucky. That was great," But you don't have to have been raised on a self-sustaining farm to dig into traditional strategies at health and wellness. We all have traditions. In fact, the wisdom that I'm going to share with you all today isn't my own. It's our cultural wisdom, collectively. We all have heritage. We all have age-old wisdom passed from generation to generation, and we'll talk about some of that and explore some of those commonalities and themes that hopefully will inspire you all at health as they have done for me. So, in a nutshell, my upbringing on a self-sustaining rural farm in Appalachia lit within me the passion and purpose to travel the world and learn from others, elders, similar traditional practices at health and wellness that I'll share with you all today. So before we delve in, I wanted to ask you all to consider this. What is health? All right? I want you to just kind of think about this for a minute. What is it to you? Maybe what is it to others? Kind of meditate on that just for a minute and come up with your answer. All right. Actually, who wants to share their answer? Do a couple. Volunteers? Anybody?
Absence of disease.
Absence of disease. That's a great one. Thanks, Todd. It's really yeah. So I with the lack of volunteers, I have Heinens to thank for that, because I see everybody. Remember what the wise elders said about eating, right? Meditatively, chew every bite, once for each time One time for each tooth in your mouth. It's a meditative encounter with your food. I saw a hand. Yes.
Feeling good enough to get up and ride my bike to work every day.
Awesome. Awesome. Any more? One or two? Yeah.
Relatively pain-free in your normal life activities.
Okay. Yeah. One more.
Participate in activities, get your body running close to its optimal level as possible.
Wonderful. Here's what the gold standard Wikipedia says, right? The quick evolution to the gold standard. Health is the level of functional and or metabolic efficiency of an organism at both the micro and macro level. Well, in the medical field, health is commonly defined as an organism's ability to efficiently respond to challenges and effectively restore and sustain homeostasis, which in one word, who could tell me what that means? I heard it. Who said that? Balance. Yes, exactly. Here's what the World Health Organization says. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. All right? Here's what I say. That health is a complex interplay of systems in balance and include constructs of the mind, body, spirit, and our environment. And that latter one has been missing in all the prior definitions we actually looked about and heard about, and in fact even thought about. Did anybody come up with environment in their kind of personal definition of health? Let me see. Any hands? Yeah. Isn't that interesting? We are an ecosystem's construct, right? The mind and the body is a false dichotomy. They're in fact one, right? And we're inextricably intertwined with spirit and our environment, right? And so suffice it to say that health is complicated, but then it's not really, depending on how you want to look at it. It's multivariate, and it varies in perceptions, individually, culturally, socially, and then some. Yet it's needed by everyone, and it's affected by everything, including those environmental constructs, as we had discussed. There is absolutely no health without environmental health, period. So, this isn't the answer, right? This is a counterthink. This is great. This drug may cause dizziness, chest pain, diarrhea, loss of memory, blood clots, joint pain, and anal leakage. Are those the side effects? No, those are the main ones. The side effect is that it might lower your cholesterol. You know, we laugh. It's interesting. It's true, though. I had a patient this morning who had a blood clot from birth control pills. You know, I mean, I see it day in and day out. Pharmaceutical intervention is not the answer. But here's how it happened. Another one. You got big pharma pulling on the strings of the old FDA. We have to fix this. There's a big book written about medicine that informs all of our new doctors. It was written by the pharmaceutical companies, and that's sad. So to promote health, we have to strive to understand it from fundamental perspectives. This is, exactly what I've done. To begin, let's go to the roots of health and healthcare. Let's ask a multitude of healers from varied cultures. Let's ask our elders their secrets at long life and health and wellness. For the better part of the last few decades, that's exactly what I've done. It took me to the jungles of Central and South America. I work with the Maya. We have sustainable healthcare models, medicinal plants, gardens that provide primary health care to most of southern Belize. Appalachian Native American healing traditions and healing. How many of y'all know what this is right here? Anybody? It is not poison ivy. That is not even close to poison ivy. Yeah. Probably some people here have had it. What was that? Nope. Nope. I'll give you a clue. We're singing in the mountains. There you go. Who said that? All right, ginseng. Yeah. Yep. How about this one? Anybody know? That's golden seal. All right. So these plants are alive and well right around us. Our cultures, our traditions have utilized them at health and wellness for millennia. My journey's taken me as far as India, Indian healing traditions. All right? And those several decades, as you can imagine, generated much data that I collated into these common themes, commonalities in health and wellness, these three main categories: philosophy and outlook, lifestyle, and diet and nutritional practices. And the findings were commonsensical, retrospectively, yet fascinating, right? Philosophy and outlook, the elders teach of optimism, resilience, presence in the present moment, and spirituality. Right? Let's talk about optimism for a second. There's a great study that just was done by Johns Hopkins. Took all of the participants, thousands of people, and normalized them, across the board. Basically for age, gender, health habits, the healthy eaters with the healthy eaters, the exercisers with the exercisers, the sedentary people. Normalized all the variables except for one: optimism versus pessimism. But the optimists live more than a decade longer than the pessimists. That one thing aside, right? So always remember the glass is half full, right? Be optimistic. Happiness comes from within. It's a relative frame. Happiness comes from within. Resilience. Don't let the ups get you up or the downs get you down. Your physiology has to bring you back. It gets tired. Presence in the present moment. This is the only moment of life. Don't dwell on the past and get depressed, or the future and be anxious. The only moment of life is now. So appreciate the blue sky, the people next to you, the energy in this room, the amazing sprouted risotto with fresh wild mushrooms. It's a wonderful fall favorite. The mushrooms come out in the fall in the forest, precisely when we need their immunostimulatory, immunomodulatory benefits. So our body and our physiology doesn't do too well with these transitions, which is why your grandma would tell you in the spring, despite whether or not it was, it felt cold to you, she'd tell you, put your sweater on. Same thing, as we head into the winter months, the mushrooms stimulate our immune system as we go through cold and flu season and whatnot. They taught in belief, prayer, the function of community, right? To quote the ancient mystic Rumi, there are thousands of ways to hit the ground kneeling. Just make sure you do. And lifestyle, we have active bodies, right? Active bodies. Make sure they're active, right? Ancient practices, meditation, yoga, tai chi, walks in the woods, daily walking. The longer you walk, the longer you live, period. Really, it comes down to a balance. Calories in, calories out, right? You have to expend the calories that you consume. Right? Daily activity and daily activity in nature. And diet nutritional practices, these elders subsist on superfoods. Calorie, sparse, nutrient-rich, plant-based foods, like we've talked on prior. So this, as you can imagine, was very exciting, rewarding, a few decades, and really amazing research and wisdom of elders. But as I said, these are the wisdom of all of our traditions. So the basis of disease, really, is really these two things. So disease need not exist, but if it does, it's for one of these two reasons: toxicity and trauma. Well, there are two categories really of each: environmental toxicity, plastics, PCBs, endocrine disruptors, xenoestrogens, heavy metals, larvicides, fungicides, herbicides, pesticides, petrochemicals in our bodies sometimes act as hormones. For example, xenoestrogens. Heavy metals are horrible. Mercury, cadmium, lead. These things are in our environments and sequestered in our bodies. They drive disease. And food toxicity. Too much sugar, too much fat, drive inflammation, drive disease. Food that isn't food in the food, plasticizers. Again, larvicides, fungicides, pesticides, herbicides, all these nasty things, all the asides. Right? So the solution for these two is cleanse regularly and eat healthfully, just like my book tells you. Eat yourself super. Right? And the traumas, these are impactful stress and stressors that drive disease. The obvious kind, right? Rushing here, rushing there, lack of present awareness. Something happens. So like the elders teach, be present. Don't be texting while you drive or rushing here, rushing there. Pay attention and be present in the present moment. Presence in this moment will provide for the future, right? Slow down, be present, eliminate stress and stressors, be optimistic, resilient, connect to nature will help, right? The other kind of trauma is our disconnection from nature, right? I think we need to mitigate these traumas and reconnect. So what do I mean by that? I'll give you a couple of examples. Our ancestors spent a lot more time with a lot less clothes on outside, right? Why is that important? Who could tell me? Yeah, vitamin D. In fact, the sunshine vitamin. Vitamin D isn't really a vitamin, though. It's a hormone in the sense that you get vitamins from your food. You get hormones are made inside of you. That's basically what happens with vitamin D. Vitamin D's precursor is cholesterol. Floats up to your skin, 7-dehydrocholesterol is irradiated by UVB, the sun, to active vitamin D, which is then responsible for 10 to 15% of the epigenetic regulation of who you are. So, roughly 3,000 of your 30,000 genes are under the control of vitamin D. Yet, we're not running around naked, so everybody has a vitamin D deficiency, which drives major pathologies in our culture. We'll talk about that in some subsequent slides here, but moral of the story is we all need to run around naked, right? So we ran around naked. It solved the problem on a couple of areas, right? A, we'd be getting our vitamin D, and B, we'd probably push ourselves away from the dinner table a plate early if you couldn't cover up what was. And how beautiful is nature? We're actually closer to the sun in the winter. So you need less time out in the sun in winter to produce your requisite vitamin D. Perihelion is the name, the astronomical name for the Earth being closest to the sun. It happens in January, really, right around here, right? Perihelion. You could look it up. Go to the gold standard Wikipedia. You could, right? So, all right, let's see here. It's the tilt of the Earth. You see why it's colder. All right, so here's our solution, right? We're going to eat ourselves super, incorporate superfoods, manage fats, manage sugars, know our source, eat up the pyramid. You all have these. And smart supplementation, which we're going to spend most of the time today talking about. We'll talk about the essentials, essentials plus, and pillars, and why these help us, in particular in this day and age where we fall short in diet. So in a nutshell, I want you to think of these things with regard to the food. It's always food first, and then we're going to talk about supplements. But with the food, it's a journey. I want you to meet yourself where you're willing to be met. It's about sustainability, the long haul. And remember your ecosystem's approach. It's community, food first and supplement. Now, what does that mean? Well, when I first started my medical practice, people would come in and I would say, you need to do this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. And they'd be overwhelmed and not come back. And I had to develop a better approach where we could pick one or two things and focus and blah, blah, blah. Because I wanted to reach a broader audience, not just a few people that were ready for radical change. Although when you start to do these few things, you start to feel better, you start to do more. It works really well. But there's other things, right? And so sustainability, it's the long haul. And it isn't necessarily the end point, it's the journey. It's all the in-between points, the being, enjoying the superfoods, right? And sharing it. We're of the mindset, love people, feed them good food, right? So it's when you host your family and friends, you think about that. And how difficult would it be if you went home every day and your spouse was eating, a bunch of junk food and you were eating a bunch of healthy stuff. We have to be on this journey together, right? A couple quick tips in eating yourself up this pyramid, and then we'll get to the smart supplementation stuff. Start with a salad a day, then the salad a meal, then make the salad a meal. We're not talking about iceberg lettuce, though. Look, you could make a salad out of the pyramid, right? Throw on your sprouted nuts and seeds, your omegas. Supplement your diet with chia seeds, flax seeds, walnuts, crucially important. Add your favorite functional foods, your fermented stuff. Get the probiotic supplementation. Herbs, chop them up. Throw it on, right? Because what you're going to see is that a lot of the supplements that we recommend are actually food, right? We got them in our diet. We're not getting them in the modern diet, all right? I'm not talking those dinky salads. I'm talking serious salad. This was actually my daughter's birthday party food. So we'd walk up with these salads, and parents are like, "Where's the food? What are you talking about? It's all right here." "Oh, so-and-so doesn't eat lettuce or salad." And I'm like, "You watch." Every kid there chowed this stuff. Every kid there. We run kids programs at Heinen's. We do these. They just love them. I go into the schools around here. I make, our fruit stew and our salads. The kids they love it. So one of the local schools does a muffins with mom, donuts with dad series. And I had said, well, how about we do dragon fruit stew with dads instead? And we sponsored it, and sure enough, the kids just love it. So I get this all the time, how do your kids eat so healthfully? Well, they eat what I eat. That's just how it is. And so I encourage people to kind of do that. Go out to dinner and they bring out the kids' menu and the adults' menu. Well, no. Kids should eat real food. Eat snacks. Average person 2 to 3 snacks a day drives a quarter to a half of their caloric from snacking. So healthy snacks increase your nutrient intake by being nutritious and delicious, right? Sustain energy levels and blood sugar, assist in recovery from stressors, both physical and mental. I have a pile of snacks on my desk. Kale chips, cabbage arugula chips, sprouted trail mix, sprouted soaked nuts and seeds, pile at my office. And the healthy stuff crowds out the bad stuff. It helps. And eat plants, but if you're including animal foods in your diet, you want to minimize the frequency and portion. Start with a healthy animal and recognize and implement plant-based alternatives. This is no secret, right? And we've known it for a long time that the low-fat plant-based diet is the gold standard diet in health. This is a New York Times article from 1907. I love this article. Here, check this out. Cancer increasing among meat eaters, particularly among the foreign-born using foods derived from diseased, unwell animals. And then check this out. On the other hand, Italians and Chinese, practically vegetarians, show the lowest mortality of all. Isn't that interesting? How many of you all think of Italians or Chinese as vegetarians? Let me see, raise your hand if you think that. Isn't that interesting? Well, but it's true then. In fact, all of our ancestors ate predominantly plant-based diets, all of them. And that includes the Italians. There was more food in the food then. Meat was the condiment or the special occasion. It has evolved because of dairy and cattle lobbying, just like pharmaceutical lobbying, to be a mainstream part of our diet. It's not correct. It's not healthful for people or planet. All right, so it's much more than food. It's, philosophy and outlook, right? Lifestyle and food. And where we fall short in the modern day, smart supplementation can help. So really, this smart supplementation program, we've designed it to kind of take the guesswork out of the supplements for you all. There's the marketplace is awash with all these different dietary supplements and claims and structure function claims and 100,000 different multivitamins and a million different omega fats and blah blah blah. So we wanted to distill it down and take some of that guesswork out for you. And so this is how I kind of designed my smart supplementation pyramid to help you with that. The base are the essentials, which we'll talk about. The middle are the essentials plus, and the top are these pillars that we're going to kind of talk about each one of in brief today, and then follow up with each one of these pillars in detail throughout the year. So in other words, we're going to talk about digestive health in detail, hormonal health in detail, cardiovascular health in detail, in subsequent lectures. All right, so keep your eyes out for those. Always remember, food first. Right? I'm going to say it over and over and over again. But why should we consider taking those high-quality supplements? Nutrient-depleted soils, toxic burdens, an unfortunate movement away from nature and our ancestral diets, and modern lifestyle and all the stressors that it brings. Supplementation can really help you with that. And modern diet and our suboptimal access to ideal foods. I can't tell you how many times I hear, Dr. Todd, I can't eat healthfully because I travel so much. Really? I mean, how hard is a salad? All right, so food first, and then you want to supplement with the essentials. Step one. So we're talking this bottom rung here. What are the essentials? Well, we're going to tell you what they do first. So these really support our normal physiology by supplementing our diets with things that we're not getting that our ancestors did get in their diets. Okay? So, multivitamin with B12, right? Bioavailable iodine, vitamin D, right? Probiotics, algal-based DHA in addition to your omega-3 fats. Those are the essentials. The essentials plus, these are the second rung on the supplement pyramid. These help us deal with the stress and stressors of modern day living. They raise our vitality, right? So you want to do the first step, restore normal physiology with food first and the essentials. You want to start to think about the essentials plus, especially if you're, having stress and stressors. You want to use supplements that are tonics, for example, make energy available. For example, matcha green tea is a great example of this. You use supplements that are adaptogens. Adaptogens kind of do for your body what your body needs them to do and helps you deal with stressors, supports the thyroid or the adrenal glands, for example. Maca is a great example of that. Maca is a great example. Ginseng is another great example. Okay? You want to use supplements that promote healthful inflammatory balance, right? Healthful inflammatory balance. The supplements that, for example, drive down chronic inflammation. And use supplements that optimize systems energy, optimize metabolic pathways, B vitamins, for example. Right? We'll kind of talk about those a little bit more in subsequent slides. And then step 3, the pillars, the key health systems, prevent and reverse disease, right? So we want to restore the normal physiology with food and the essentials, raise vitality as necessary, individually tailored, and then optimize the pillars. Now I'm going to go through kind of each one of those categories. The essentials, as I had said, are necessary given this modern lifestyle and context of our, depleted soils, toxic burdens, and just the fact that we're not eating what our ancestors ate. Whole foods-based multi, raw best. We're not eating vegetables with soil on them as much as our ancestors, for example, right? And because of that, we're not getting our bowel flora inoculated with homeostatic soil organisms that, for example, make things for our bodies. B12, vitamin K, so on and so forth. So whole foods-based multi, soils depleted, probiotic, helps us with the recolonization of our bowel flora that are like 100 trillion friends you didn't even realize you had. No, we're not eating seaweed like our ancestors by the boatload, literally and figuratively. So you need some bioavailable iodine. It supports your thyroid, which is your body's life shield. We'll go through these in more detail as we go here. Sunshine vitamin, as we'd said, D, and algal-based DHA. In addition to your plant-based omega-3 fats. Yeah. Bringing balance then with the Essentials Plus, matcha, for example, the adaptogen. Maca, the adaptogen, matcha, the tonic. Matcha green tea is, an amazing meditative beverage. Cat's claw, immunomodulatory. Turmeric, or curcumin, right? Healthful inflammatory balance. One of the most amazing plant teachers, in my view. B vitamins for systems energy, CoQ10, cardiovascular health. Resveratrol for healthy aging and cognitive health, and zinc for immune support. So each one of those has a very specific kind of connotation. Remember, we're talking about the Essentials Plus. So these are the things that we could supplement with that can help us deal with stress and stressors of modern day living. Maca being the adaptogen, right? Adaptogens, again, are the things that kind of do for our bodies what our bodies need them to do in supporting that optimal balance, right? Thyroid, adrenal glands talk to one another, help restore that resilience. Thyroid, it's the body's life shield, kind of like the weeks to months motor that supports your immunity, tells every cell in your body how quickly to consume oxygen, producing energy. The adrenals are like the day-to-day thing, right? But if the thyroid's slow, if we're not getting iodine, people get sluggish, hair thins, cold hands and feet, truncal obesity, just sluggish, joint aches and pains, those kind of things. So for Maki, think strength, stamina, and mental clarity. Matcha, tonic, cellular energy, thermogenic superfood, meditation in the cup. The ancient tea masters would say, drink your tea reverently and slowly, as if it's the axis the entire earth revolved around. Meditation in a cup. Cat's claw, named so for the cat's claw-like spines on the underside of this woody liana, grows up the rainforest trees to the canopy to vie for the light. Immunomodulatory, balance and optimize immunity. It's actually antiviral properties, anti-tumorigenic properties. Turmeric, curcumin, right? Balance and promote the body's natural healthy inflammation, optimal health and wellness, cardiovascular and joint health, right? Inflammation we need, our bodies need to become inflamed to heal, right? Scrape the elbow, twist the ankle, become infected by something. The body becomes inflamed to heal that stuff, to clear that stuff. Problem is when inflammation isn't balanced with anti-inflammation. Perpetual pro-inflammation, that perpetual pro-inflammatory state is what drives the chronic diseases of civilization, right? All of them: diabetes, cancer, cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's, pulmonary, arthritis, autoimmune, neurologic, you name it. This is good. B vitamins. The B vitamins facilitate our cellular energy production, provide mental and physical energy, cardiovascular support a healthy response to stressors, right? You can see here I got all these microorganisms. Who knows what this is? What's that? No? Yeah. Wait, who said that? How'd you know? Awesome. Yeah. How many of y'all remember your grandmother or grandfather making traditional fermented foods? Yeah. How many of you still do? There you go. All right. Yeah, it's so few, right? But it's so important. It's so important. These things colonize our bowel tract from mouth to anus. These bioavailable, these microorganisms produce bioavailable nutrients for us. They drive our immunity. They support anti-inflammatory balance. They support optimal immunity, optimal health and wellness. The B vitamins themselves, how many of you all know what B vitamins are, right? I mean, there's a lot of them, right? You know that, but what do they do? Who could tell me? I'm amazed at how so few people know what a B vitamin is. Even doctors, ask your doctor what a B vitamin is. They'll name a few B vitamins or something like, but ask them, say, what do they do? What does a B vitamin do? Who could tell me?
Are they cofactors in reactions?
They are. They're coenzymes.
Sometimes I know physicians that recommend a B12 shot if you're tired or sluggish and help.
Energy, yeah. They help systems balance, right? So our biochemistries are very complex. The B vitamins help ensure those biochemical reactions are occurring optimally. In fact, they're necessary for the expression of DNA even, methylation, acetylation, all those important things. Right? CoQ10, cardiovascular health, cellular energy production, antioxidant protection, heart health. Resveratrol, cardiovascular health, cognitive health, healthy aging, actually vasodilates vessels in the brain, right? And we got this stuff in our diets, right? You're not drinking spruce tip tea like your ancestors, or eating with the seasons, cyclically with the cadence of nature. So you're not getting all that you need. Zinc, an essential for hormonal health and immune support. Think energy and optimizing your immunity. See the zinc here? Look at it, it's right here by cadmium and mercury. So why toxins are toxic is because they look like the stuff your body needs. They don't work like it. Same thing with iodine here. We need iodine for thyroid health. Every cell in your body. Breast health, prostate health, crucial iodine. Right? But not only are we eating less iodine than our ancestors because we're not eating seaweed by the boatload, but there's things that look like it in our environment, in our food supply, that don't work like it, like fluorine and chlorine, which are added to water, bromine, which is a preservative in breads. So we just talked about the essentials and then the essentials plus. So the essentials help us restore normal physiology. So food first, and the essentials help us put some things into our diet that our ancestors got in their traditional diets. The essentials plus help us deal with stress and stressors in modern day living. And now we'll talk about each of the 7 pillars. And I know, it's not complicated, right? It seems like there's all these different things. I mean, you got to eat this and not that and this and blah, 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 and take these supplements and just enough to make yourself crazy. No, you can make it really simple. And it really just starts with food. This is where our ancestors got it. They got it in the food. And the food translates to the compounds that we need for health, right? And all the ancient traditions and spices, right? Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, fruits and veggies, right? Anti-cancer compounds, anti-inflammatory compounds, you name it. And medicine knows this. Modern medicine knows it. Modern pharmaceutical science knows this, right? In fact, most drugs utilized in conventional medicine come from natural compound derivatives. In fact, the probably 50% of modern medical, the official statistic is 25 to 40%. It's probably more than that. Of modern day medical drugs come from plants. But modern medicine knows no better than to isolate, synthesize mono compounds from these things. They do better when they come with a family. So in other words, it isn't just the curcumin, it's the curcuminoids, right? It's the family of compounds in their natural plant-based form. So the fundamentals: pure water, sunshine, nature, food. We need carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. We also need vitamins, minerals, trace minerals, hormone precursors, antioxidants, plant pigments, other phytochemicals. We even need biophotons and a multitude of other things that science has yet to uncover. All of this and then some we get from our superfoods diet and the optimal physiologic environment they spawn for the development of those healthful symbioses, bacterial symbionts that produce things for us, and so on and so forth. We need to support these things, with our food first and smart supplementation strategies. Well, the major drivers of disease I've alluded to throughout the talk already: disconnection from nature, dehydration is one we really haven't touched on yet, but we'll talk about a little bit more now. Sunshine deficiency, nutrient, vitamin, mineral, trace mineral deficiencies, our toxic burden in the modern day, inflammation, fat toxicity, too much fat in the diet, sugar toxicity, too much sugar, and being overweight, sick and fatigued, poor digestion and gut health. These are the major drivers of disease that are enabled by those two bases that I talked about, toxicity and trauma. So the toxicity and trauma really feed into all this. So how much water should we drink? Basically 50 to 70% of your body is water. Total body weight, 50 to 70% is water. Okay, most of it is inside the cell. Okay, remember this: the reason this is 50 to 70 is because fat tissue doesn't like water. Okay, so the more fat you have, the more dehydrated you are automatically. Right? They don't mix oil and water like your salad dressing. Right? Your fat tissue does not like water. So the more fat you are, the less water you have per body weight. So you're automatically dehydrated. This is why, generally speaking, the ladies tend to be a little bit more dehydrated than the guys. It's also why people who have higher BMIs or are overweight or obese are chronically ill because of dehydration. You should drink at least 3 liters of water a day, at least. I mean, that's the starting point, right? You lose a liter of water at night just sleeping. Insensible losses. First thing I do is get up and drink a liter of water. And your urine should be clear. If it's not clear, drink more water. All right? Pee clear regularly is the mantra. And if you're not getting up at least once at night, you're not drinking enough water. Sunshine deficiency, as we talked about, right? Cholesterol, the father of all hormones. Boom, boom, boom. Active vitamin D. If everybody had optimized D levels in their body, we'd see an 83% reduction in breast cancer, 66% reduction in type 1 diabetes, the inflammatory type, the autoimmune type. You could extrapolate that to some of the other autoimmune conditions. At our practice, we do megadose vitamin D repletion and then recommend 5,000 IUs of vitamin D a day. The body uses that much. You need millions of IUs of vitamin D for the most part. Always check the levels and do your repletion under the guidance of a doctor, but make sure that you have your vitamin D levels optimized. Mineral and trace mineral deficiency. If you ate from the garden for 6 months and did a soil analysis and a hair analysis, you'd see similar mineral profiles. Remember that. Very real, powerful effect our food has on us. Okay? And there are more minerals in organic food. Plus there are less pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, larvicides, all the yesides. Right? Inflammation. While it's an essential part of the body's healing process, chronic inflammation drives disease, as we had discussed. Fat and sugar toxicity. Animal fats are the highest way that fats enter our system because the animals bioconcentrate fats. Lipids stick to the vessels, drive cardiovascular disease. Similarly with sugar, spill a can of pop on the ground, gets sticky, same thing. Our proteins in our blood, same thing happens. That's sugar toxicity. Overweight, sick, and tired. The thyroid slows down without iodine. Thyroid speeds up with iodine. It's our biological thermostat. We need iodine for the thyroid to function. Low immunity, hair loss, brittle hair, brittle nails, cold hands and feet, dry skin, truncal obesity. This is why 76 million Americans or more are on pharmaceutical drugs to produce basically their thyroid hormones, Synthroid, Cytomel. Really, the body makes that stuff if you give it the iodine it needs. The problem is the deficiency in iodine. Poor digestion and gut health, right? Poor health begins in the gut, with gut integrity, the ability to assimilate nutrients and eliminate toxins and wastes. And this poor gut health is a result of diet high in processed foods, which promote an imbalance in gut flora. All right, so digestive health, right? This is the digestive system is the process of taking food through the mouth and digesting monocompounds from it to bring into the body to be used for fuel. So the ingestion of food, secretion of enzymes to break down that food, mixing, breaking into smaller pieces and digesting it, pieces we want, and excreting the rest as waste. Common issues in this: heartburn, irritable bowel syndrome, bloating, gas, diarrhea, constipation, inflammation, ulcers, stomach pain, and cramps. So the digestive system is slowing down, right? Some key ways to support this, we've already talked about them. The essentials and the essentials plus. Optimize your digestion. In addition to that, you could think about digestive enzymes that help. Digestive enzymes. The next two layers, we're going to talk about this more in detail as we go into these pillars in more detail. Liver gallbladder. Liver gallbladder flushing, cleansing, milk thistle, dandelion, SAM-E, methyl donors. GI tract, you want to take probiotics, of course, and eat diets rich in fiber. But in addition to that, there are other things that help. Seal the gut, glutamine, oregano, hugely important. In some, it is the process of us passing food through our alimentary canal to absorb what we need. A, make sure there's food in your food. B, make sure you're digesting it. If you're having these common issues, start going down that path. More regular exercise, more greens. Make sure you're taking your essentials. Add to that the essentials plus where necessary. And if necessary, even support digestion with enzymes. Hormonal health. Hormones work longitudinally over time, affect all these different processes. Growth and development, metabolism, energy, sexual function, reproduction, mood, vitality, longevity. All of these things, right? Some common issues: fatigue, low immunity, low libido, fertility issues. Young people are having a hard time getting pregnant now. Part of the reason is this complete imbalance, right? Issues with cycles, ladies, prostate swelling in guys, PMS, menopause and andropause difficulties, right? All of these things, and how you optimize, we talked about. So diet first, right? Plenty of hormones and hormone precursors in our food if you eat the right food. In addition, you want the right herbs and spices, and where necessary, supplement. Make sure you're doing your essentials. In addition to that, it gets a little bit more complicated here with all the different hormonal cascades and systems. But you look at things like adaptogens first with the Essentials Plus, and then cohoshes, clovers, soy, chaste tree, wild yam, all of the Essentials Plus have some types of connotations here. Selenium, pterostilbene, and saw palmetto for prostate, trace minerals, among others. And again, we'll kind of go through each one of these pillars in subsequent lectures. This is the first pass. So in summary, our hormone system, these are chemical messengers, right? They control all aspects of our being. Some issues, major issues, fatigue and immunity and libido and so on and so forth. So eat healthfully, right? And then complement, where appropriate, the right herbs and spices and supplements. They really help. People feel different night and day. Cardiovascular health, right? Our cardiovascular system, three major functions: transportation of nutrients and oxygen. This is the heart, the blood vessels, the lungs, right? It protects us through white blood cells and immunity. Right? Everybody's getting attacked by everything all the time. Our immune system is what protects us, right? And our cardiovascular system maintains that balance that we talked about, that homeostasis. Some common issues: heart disease, vascular disease, high blood pressure, reactive airway disease, constriction in the lungs, allergies. So the keys, right, for this: manage your fats, focusing on omega-3 fats, minimizing the rest, right? Managing your fats. Manage your sugars, low glycemic, minimizing simple sugars. Best foods are low-fat, plant-based, as we discussed, but you want to make sure that you're including beets and chard and greens daily. There's a whole list of things here. You want to supplement where necessary above and beyond the essentials: curcumin, turmeric, garlic, gymnema, the sugar buster, and some of the others that we had talked about. Magnesium is crucially important for cardiovascular health. And some, I know there's a lot of things here, but it's not. It's really the food and this kind of careful tailoring on your journey for the things that you need uniquely. No, it's about the weakest link, really, is kind of how, if you were to hang a really heavy weight from a chain, perfectly formed chain, right? No flaws in the links, perfectly machined, no cracks or one of them is going to break, right? We want to support those weaker links in us for a long, strong physiology. Immune support, right? Our immune system protects us, right? It modulates inflammation, neutralizes pathogens, bacteria, virus, fungal pathogens, so on and so forth. Recognizes harmful substances in the environment, protects us from those things. Fights against the body's own cells that have changed due to some kind of an illness, i.e. cancer. We all get cancerous cells. The body's immune system kills them. All right? And differentiation between self and non-self. Our immune systems should be able to tell what's you and what's a foreign invader. So some common issues with the immune system, I classify them in two things, right? Too much immune system and too little immune system. The too much is allergies, inflammation, autoimmune diseases, right? These are loss of tolerance. In other words, when your body thinks you are a foreign invader, causes problems, drives disease. Too little immunity, not enough, right? Frequent colds and flu infections, and this is when cancer can develop. And so the way we optimize immune health is figure out where we are in here and then support for weakened immunity the essentials, for overactive the essentials. And then you start to think about other things. For immune support, zinc, ester C, echinacea, elderberry, cat's claw, golden seal. These are great supplements that help with strengthening the immune system. Right? And if the immune system is too active, you want to think of cooling, right? Turmeric, curcumin, boswellia, leukotriene inhibition. Boswellia is amazing. Cat's claw, immunomodulatory. Holy basil, quercetin. These are amazing supplements that can really help people out. And again, they come from our food. All right, so in some, got to figure out too much or too little and manage appropriately. That's no secret. Food, mushrooms, garlic, fermented foods, matcha, herbs and spices, curcumin, boswellia. We're going to keep hearing the same things over and over and over. Joint support, or skeletal system and movement. First, you want to move, right? That's the big thing. Pain and stiffness, inflammation, degenerative joint diseases, osteoarthritis, inflammation. I can't even impress upon you how important it is. Don't let your doctors, or anybody for that matter, tell you that joint pain and debilitation is expected as you get older. Age is an emotion. You need to stay healthy and happy, move your bodies. I mean, the centenarians and super centenarians that I worked with were active every day of their lives. How do we optimize this? Well, move, lose weight, manage your inflammation, take your vitamins, vitamin D, A, C, E, and S, selenium, vitamin C, right? Supplement, joint support, curcumin, boswellia, anti-inflammatory, magnesium, potassium chelates, multi-minerals. Calcium supplements cause heart attacks. Calcium supplements cause heart attacks. You'll absorb enough calcium if your vitamin D is optimal. Other minerals are important for bone strength. Magnesium, potassium, all these different minerals, right? So we want to support our joints. Be good to them. Be good to them. Be good to them. Cognitive health. Again, do not let anyone tell you that cognitive decline is a given as you age. These centenarians and super centenarians are as sharp as a tack. But just as fat toxicity causes cardiovascular disease, heart attack if it's in the heart, stroke if it's in the brain, so too does it on a daily basis cause microvascular compromise. Microvascular compromise, slow loss of mental capacity, slow loss of erections for guys, for example, right? I mean, these cold hands and feet, poor circulation. These are all kind of long-standing effects of fat toxicity, too much fat. So low fat, plant-based diet is beginning. Support your cognitive health. If you're having feelings of brain fog or trouble remembering, trouble staying focused, you want to optimize the systems. First, foods, brain superfoods, omega-3 fats, supplement with the essentials. B vitamins, crucially important. DHA, essential for brain and eye health. Exercise, learn new things, connect with others, social networks. Always remember sleep, the universal tonic for rejuvenation. Sleep. You've got to be sleeping enough. And the last pillar, detox, detoxification, purification. Takes a little bit of effort. You want to eat healthfully. You also want to facilitate your body's detoxification system. How does this work, right? Remove impurities from the blood and the body. And you want to do that with trouble losing weight or low energy, poor digestion, bloating, acne, trouble sleeping. First, pure water. Eat your foods that detoxify, greens, broccoli, cilantro, artichokes, asparagus, cabbage, garlic, ginger, grapefruit, kale, lemon, seaweed. Right, these things are amazing. Movement, daily walking, sweating, ancient practices, tai chi, yoga, supplementation, some great ones, juniper, red clover, burdock, zeolites, bentonite clay, alfalfa leaves, milk thistle, support the liver and its detoxification action. It's called a liver for a reason. Live R, right? All right. So remember, eat yourself super, supplement smartly, and if you have any questions, I'm here. As always, some disclosures, affiliations. I am the founder of Great Lakes Health Institute, Chief Medical Officer of Heinen's, Medical Director here at Parker, which is an amazing honor to be here with you all. Founder of Nutritional Roots, which is my supplement company, and a health sciences professor with tenure at Cleveland State. So thanks and be well. There's my website.